the meeting to order. I don't see the little red light. I'm colorblind.
Sorry. You're on.
Okay, first order of business, and thank you for your indulgence of a slight delay in starting the meeting. I explained before the call to order, we're advised that one of our commissioners is stuck in traffic, and so we thought we might wait a bit, but I don't want to hold everybody up, so we get going. First order of business is public comment. I see members of the public here.
I do have something I'd like to enter under public comment, please. To the Woodbridge Board of Fire Commissioners, from the Executive Board, Woodbridge Volunteer Fire Association, concerning dispatch. We have both participated in and watched the process of reporting on problems with and proposing solutions to the issues with fire dispatch for years. It's extraordinarily frustrating and dispiriting that the concerns relating to an issue that so directly concerns the safety of all members of the fire department have seen little progress and no resolution. Many of you on the Board of Fire Commissioners know about and have seemed sympathetic to our concerns, but we feel that we must go public with our dissatisfaction. Without going into minute detail, you're all aware of the problems with timeliness and accuracy of dispatch, which affect not only firefighter safety, but the safety of all the citizens of Woodbridge. We strongly recommend that fire dispatch protocols, and 911 be placed under different auspices than those of the police department. The fire department must have ultimate authorization over fire dispatch protocols. We recognize the value of an in-house system and local control, but fire dispatch has been mismanaged to the extent that its control must be altered. If that local appropriate control cannot be achieved, we would recommend the minimum 911 and fire dispatch be outsourced so there's no delay in dispatch compromising firefighter and public safety. We've been working with the town administration for over 2 years trying to resolve this problem. We cannot and will not allow the safety of our members to remain compromised. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Do you have a written copy of that for
I do, yes.
to attach to the minutes?
Yes, I do.
If you would be welcome to receive that. Okay. Public comment is usually not a two-way street, but I would note that that I personally, and I believe all members of the Fire Commission, share your concerns. Is there any other public comment? Okay. Next item on the agenda is liaison comments. Liaison. Our Board of Selectmen liaison. Joe, do you have anything to say? And our Finance Commission.
I don't have anything specific to say except that we're coming up on the capital budget season next month. Remind everybody to also go to the Thanksgiving service next Monday. And there are ongoing conversations that Sean is aware of about how the combined Board of Finance and Board of Selectmen task force are in process to try and consolidate and build some efficiencies into our systems.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the Chairman's report. I really have nothing to add other than our existing agenda items. So let's move on. Next item is the review of current financial statements and the capital budget improvement program, the proposed capital budget.
So we had to submit this last week.
So that was, Sean, that was
draft form.
submitted? Okay. Cool.
So this was in draft form last week, so if we want, we'll go over this. Engine 7, our last payment will be due next year for $158,176. Any questions on Engine 7? That's a fall.
That's the,
Hang on one second.
Ansonia Rd for reports of a car fire.
Okay.
Is that the extent of the information you would expect to hear on an initial dispatch?
I honestly can't tell you right now.
Okay.
It's an interesting question.
That's basically what we get. Okay. Engine 7, the last payment's due 158, 176.
The caller stated that the occupants were out of the vehicle.
Roger, is it confirmed car fire?
Roger, she said it looks like there was a fire underneath the vehicle. Not a large one, not fully engulfed yet.
Roger.
Okay.
You want to listen to the phone?
No, but just that was the, that's the radio transmissions after the initial dispatch, is that what we're hearing?
That's correct.
Okay. So that was the additional information I was wondering about. Okay. There was something
Engine
else.
7, last payment, was bought in 2015 for 158, 176.
All right, and that's sometime in the coming fiscal year?
That's in the next fiscal year 21.
You know the timing of that, when they make it?
I want to say they do the payments, I want to say right around this time. Engine 3 is on order, we're taking delivery in March of 2020. Truck's already been approved, it's in build form now. So we should see that probably around March of next year. And then our payment actually isn't due until the following year, but depending on how he finances it and this and that, we don't know if it would be due in FY21 or FY22. It might not be due until FY23. Depends on when the payment is due, at what time of year.
Okay, so the
So
tip,
even though we have the truck on order and we're gonna take delivery, it depends on when we pay it. Because we usually, if we do a lease purchase and we do it, somebody grab the door quick. If we do a lease purchase and we pay for it in arrears, so we take the truck in March of this year, we don't pay for a year, and then we pay the following year.
right, and it doesn't have to be a lease purchase paid in arrears, but
Correct.
that's how we usually do it.
Depends on what the interest rates are and everything
Right,
else. Yep.
okay. But if we do that, then it's not even, you're saying it's likely not even fiscal FY '22, but actually FY '23?
Could be. Could be.
But most likely not FY '21.
Correct.
But it's put in here for
Yep.
planning purposes because it could be.
You got it. If that's the case, we just move it out to FY26.
Okay.
Or if they want to pay it off quicker,
And
all we
that's,
did
and
was
that's the
space it
correct,
over a 5-year
and
period,
that's the correct
or
price
a
at the
6-year
end?
period. What's that?
That's the correct total price at the end?
It's actually a little bit more, but
Engine 9, car 24
with the
responding.
financing, I have no idea.
Okay.
Roger,
So
9824.
that gets adjusted at the Board of Finance level.
Okay.
Okay?
Any comments so far? No.
No,
Engine 9 is the next one up. Be 26 years old, FY21. That's the one we're currently speccing out right now. And if you remember, this truck mirrors engine 7. When engine 7, we started having major catastrophes with 7. 7 was 24 years old. This is gonna be 26 years old, so this is in dire need of replacement also. We have generator issues on this truck, along with other issues going on. But the truck itself is getting older and needs to be replaced,
Well, we
which we've
keep-
talked about.
We keep putting money into it to try and keep it on the road, and it's,
Roger, it's that
Diminishing, okay.
Ansonia fountain right by Rimmon, in that little section right there.
so we think it'll be ready for ordering this coming spring.
I'm hoping before then, I'm hoping sometime this winter.
Okay.
So, it just takes a long time to spec out the truck, yes.
How come this one's so much more than the last one?
So, if we went off a E1 or we went off a couple other ones, since we bought engine 3 and we don't even have delivery on engine 3 yet, E1 has taken 2 cost increases, one one at 4.11%, and the other one at 7.5%, so it's up like 11% since we ordered engine 3 a year ago. That has to do with Cummings, that has to do with just raw material.
Well, and engine 3 isn't engine 3 smaller than 9?
It is. It's a single axle, this is a tandem axle.
I mean, I think
It's got a
that,
bigger tank on it, this is a Class B foam system, the other one's a Class A foam system, so there's differences.
and engine
Curious.
Yep,
7 was some year, how many years ago?
2015.
That you ordered it,
We ordered it
Yeah.
in 14.
Engine,
Right, I remember.
engine 7,
I
and
remember,
engine
right.
7 was, I think the total price was more
Was
than,
engine 7 was 870. I wanna
right,
say.
it was more than the engine, than engine 3 is now.
Trucks are just outrageous.
So
now.
I mean, the fact that it's $150,000, how's my math, more than engine 7 was 6 years ago is not, we're not happy to hear it, but the price is.
We're not happy to hear it. We
The
used
price
to
is
be able to
shocking,
buy a
but-
truck. I mean, what we needed for under 500,000 back in early 2000s. I mean, that just shows you how much it's going up.
Right, I mean, even the rescue truck
Yeah, the rescue truck was
was
was 460, 450.
different apparatus, but still.
Yeah, yep. Well, it
Still.
didn't have a pump, but still, now a rescue truck like we have out there, we're probably talking in the $700,000 range at least. So it's going up.
It's nuts.
It's crazy.
It's-
We can't believe it.
But the
Okay,
apparatus needs to
yes,
work when we need it. I mean,
absolutely.
it's not, all right,
Affirmative.
The next one is the Lucas 3.1 device. We had this in the budget last year, got cut. We should really look into updating the Lucas device. This is something we bought back in 2011, 2012, somewhere in that area. The original one, now they've come up with a new one. It has more features on it. It's more efficient, and the other one is already gonna be, 8 years old? So it does make sense to put this on Medic 54 right now to respond to all medicals. We talked about this last year. This is the new thumper that when you're having a heart attack, come in, it slides underneath you, it comes on top, and it actually does the compressions in a consistent manner at the correct depth, which
correct depth and correct speed, which is, both of which are
Absolutely.
very hard to,
important. Yep.
despite training, it's very hard to do
So
manually, right?
they've used this numerous times. It's actually saved somebody. So I mean, as soon as you save more life, it paid for itself.
I mean,
It's a no-brainer.
that's priceless.
Yep. So
What did the Lucas 2 cost, do you remember?
the Lucas 2 is right around 13.5. So
That was the association.
7, 8 years ago. Now it's up. Yep. Any questions on the Lucas?
No, I think it's a great thing.
Okay, somebody's at the door. Air packs, this is this is the third payment on the air packs next year. We replaced these air packs 2 years ago. So we have another payment due, and we're gonna have one more payment the year after.
Roger that.
So
Air
that
packs are
was,
pretty self-explanatory.
so that was a 4-year,
That was a 4-year lease purchase.
so that's almost $600,000.
No, it was $300,000.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's 140 for 2.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Car 201, that's the fire marshal vehicle. The fire marshal vehicle needs to be replaced. We're having multiple mechanical issues with it. It's got a lot of rot on the body. It's got the head gaskets going. It's gonna be 13 years old come next year. It's a 2008 Ford Expedition. We'll replace it with another Suburban. We've had good luck with the Suburban so far.
Do you go through the state contract?
We
for the
do,
project?
yep. So this will come off the state contract
Right.
for it, just like we bought the last Suburban.
is that, what do you get for that price? Is that outfitted or is that just?
It's part, most of it's outfitted. So it's got the heavy duty suspension on it, it's got the extra room in the cargo area, it's got radios in it, it's got, it's basically outfitted. That's why it's so much. But we hold cars, we usually hold a car for 10 years. So like the other Suburban, the older Suburban is a 2011, so that's gonna be coming up probably next year or the year after. Okay.
And, you know, and I would say that it's an appropriate vehicle for what our fire marshal needs to do. And needs to carry, or equipment he needs to carry, and
Yeah, so these cars aren't stripped down. They have everything in them. So carry your gear, you carry a set of irons, Halligan bar, an axe, extinguishers. You got the Knox box in it.
Tools for investigation.
Yeah, tools for the investigation, lighting, radios, the whole nine yards.
four-wheel drive
Four-wheel drive,
for
everything.
all weather.
Yep.
I mean, in other words, he can't be doing what he needs to do in a Subaru.
No.
That's
Nope.
Right, and some sort of.
And the weight that goes in the back of the vehicle, that's why we need the heavy duty
Right.
suspension in the back. Yep. The aerial is pretty self-explanatory. The association bought the aerial, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, Nate? That was a Band-Aid fix, but we really need to start working on that right after engine 9 and replace that aerial. And we're holding 1.5 million in there for that.
Again, this is not an expenditure of the coming fiscal year, it's part
No.
of the six-year
Yep.
projection.
Well, remember, that number's probably gonna get pushed out to 23, 24. By the time, it's actually gonna be closer to 25, because once we start speccing, it's probably gonna take us six plus months to spec it out. And then an aerial right now, they're looking at anywhere between 16 months and 2-year build times. So by the time you take that and then you add another year to it, and your payments due the year after that, we're talking, you're probably out in the FY25 at least.
Yeah, and the price is gonna go up.
Well, once you sign the contract, the price is locked in,
Right.
even though the build time is out. Rescue boat, so we did a couple boat drills this year. We actually were out on the ice last year. We had a couple little rescues or animals and stuff like that, but we have gone out. The boat needs to be replaced. The boat is actually, it's a 1997, so we've got our use out of it. It's got a lot of rot on it. It needs to be replaced. This is used for water and ice rescue.
Tell us more about the boat.
Okay,
Is it
so
a-
if we have an ice rescue.
No, what is it? Is it an inflatable? Is it?
So the boat we have now is inflatable, and it's hard to keep the air up on the trailer with the temperature, and we have a lot of dry rot. This is going to be more of a flat bottom boat, more of a aluminum boat where we don't have to maintain the air, so it's going to be easier for us to maintain. It'll be on a trailer just like the other one is.
It's like a Boston Whaler type? Is it?
I don't know that much about boats. It's more of a.
It's flat bottom.
Yeah, so it's not heavy. The guys can pick it up and put it in the water. Gets towed by a trailer just like the other one does.
Got a motor on it?
Does have a motor on it, yep. Just like the other one.
But you think that makes more sense than the inflatable? In terms of the.
Because we have two. We have one inflatable and one other one. The other inflatable is gonna be up next year to replace, actually next current year, next time we sit down and talk about this. So the inflatable is carried on Rescue 1 and the other one's a tow behind.
Okay. And, you know, we're not a seashore community, but we have significant water in town.
We actually have a lot of water in town, so
Right,
you got the lake, you got the
reservoirs, you got
lakes,
Knowles
the
Pond.
reservoirs. So if we go out and say we go out in Knowles Pond, or we go out, even we had a few years ago, we had a woman walk all the way out into Knowles Pond, get stuck in the mud. We still have to get all the gear out there, so we put it on the boat and we actually move the boat, what we can row, whatever we can row, or motor out, and then when you hit the mud, you end up dragging all the equipment out with the boat, rather than having to carry it over your shoulder.
Almost like a sled.
Yeah.
Are there any other options? Like those, like, you know, Everglades airboats or anything?
You could do a hovercraft. We could be talking a lot more money here, but there's a lot more options we can do.
He wants to do whale watching, that's what he wants to do.
No, I
Cold
just,
pond.
listen, I
We have
think
Lake Chamberlain, we have Lake Dawson, we have Canolds, we have actually a lot of water in town. People would be surprised how much water we actually have.
Because, well, that's why I'm asking these questions, because I think when, you know, when we talk about a boat, people are
Yeah.
thinking, what, you know, why would we need a boat?
This is
How
nothing
hard to-
elaborate, believe me when I tell you, this is a
It's
basic
pretty
boat.
bare bones, right?
Yeah.
It's small, right?
It's actually, well, it sounds big, I think it's 15 feet. It sounds like a big boat, but if two of us got in the boat, it's actually pretty small.
Does that
Because it
come-
goes from the nose to the end.
Does that include the trailer, or do you use the
Yes.
existing?
Yeah. I don't know if I put that boat on the trailer that we're using now.
No?
No.
All right, so the estimate includes the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a boat that you would buy at like Bass Pro Shops. This is not a.
It's a little John boat.
Yeah, it's not a.
It's not a fireboat, I understand that.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have a pump on it. It doesn't have.
It's for lightweight,
Yeah.
lightweight rescue.
When we
rescue.
talk about a motor, we're not talking about a big two twin outboard motors. We're talking about one motor to get you out and get you back.
Yeah, you know, I understand, but look, car goes in the water, or somebody falls in, you need to be able to get to them.
Yep. Okay, that wraps up operating, or
Okay,
capital.
like that? No,
Something like that. It's a little bit different,
okay. Sure.
but similar.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions on the proposed budget? Is there a total or summary page that gets submitted, or?
There's not a total of what we're asking for. There never usually is. You can come up with a summary page though on the front face that show each thing and just give the dollar figure. Usually don't do that though.
Well,
That is your budget book when you get it. You know, Tony might do that.
I think Tony does it.
I think that Karen does the summaries, something like that. Do you know what night you're going? Do you know what night you're gonna sign?
I think it's gonna be the 10th.
I don't think I was doing too much. I want for Joe here.
Okay, so when we have the date, please circulate the date so
Yep.
that we all,
Sure.
as many commissioners as possible can be there. Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the proposed capital budget.
So moved.
Is there a second?
You can go priority two.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on the pending motion?
Four received.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
That's unanimous. Thank you. Do we have our financial statements? We're gonna talk about that?
Yes. Yep, you should have it.
I do not. Share.
Here, I don't do it.
Okay, highlights, please.
Highlights, once again, will be repair and maintenance machine. That line we'll keep looking at. We have encumbrances, so I'm not that concerned. Don't look at the 14,000 number that's available. We have a lot encumbered with almost 22,000 encumbered. But that is a line we're gonna keep monitoring as, need like another month and a half. We'll figure out where we are. And the other lines
The flat array.
we're all right now.
Testing, have we done the hose testing yet?
We've done the hose testing. Yep.
I'm sure if all the wheels will hold.
split.
4 to 2:30. Do you want me to go down the intersection at Johnson and Ansonia to divert traffic?
Shut that door.
Shut it.
Yeah, shut that door. Still open.
There's all three available. 418.
You guys have anything you want to talk about?
Well, there is, sorry, I'm just talking to myself here. I'm just going down the list to see if anything else jumps out. Professional development is slightly over. I know what happened there.
Which professional development?
The
Oh,
2800?
2800?
Yeah.
That is the weather satellite, so that goes over every single year.
Oh, so the
We'll
price.
try to adjust it and put a couple $100 more in for
Okay,
next year
all right.
to cover it, but it happens every single year.
Technical, so far so good?
We're gonna start depleting that line. We got busy again over the last couple of weeks. We're trying to use up all the old stuff before we order all new.
About tires, so they're any tires?
Tires, we just replaced, we actually gotta take $1,400 out of that line because we just got 2 new tires on the Rescue, 2 new front tires on the Rescue. That line will usually go pretty quick once we start ordering tires, but I think the front tires were 6 change a piece.
What about gasoline? Why is that?
Gasoline, all it is it's encumbered.
So that's just a purchase order issue?
Yeah,
That
it's
issued
just,
for anticipated use?
Gas. You're talking about the gas line?
The gas line,
The gas line, that's not gasoline, that is natural gas for the building.
but there's a separate line for natural gas. It goes
Oh, you're
tires,
right.
gas, is
So
tires,
that's
gas, electric?
Yeah, gasoline.
So
don't
I
know
think
why.
that's fuel gas, isn't it?
That is,
I mean, it probably includes diesel.
yep.
So we spent 5,600, we got 5,600 encumbered and 1,200 left.
We don't pull money out of that account because that's an account that the town automatically draws against as we use it for fuel.
So there's not
There's no PO, there's no nothing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sense of the numbers there in terms of the year-to-date and the encumbrance.
So he probably pulled a PO or he probably pulled an encumbrance out of the gas line. But that's a bill we never see.
Okay. Because we just fill up down here,
Yep.
I mean, at the Public Works garage,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And hydrants we talked about last time.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions besides mine? Okay.
Can you get the number on that? Okay.
Moving along, next item is the chief's report.
Okay, so we did a line item transfer. Actually, we need a new voice logging recorder. It does not work with the new Windows. We have to move over to Windows 10. The voice logging recorder, I believe, is actually on XP, so we did a line item transfer out of capital machinery, out of the hose line for 12,000 change to get the new voice line recorder. It went to the Board of Selectmen, Selectmen okayed it last week, and it's gonna go to the Board of Finance this week to get approved.
You need our retroactive approval?
I'd like to have your retroactive approval for the line item
That's
transfer.
right, it's not on the.
No, it's on the
breakdown.
capital. I wanna say there's like 45,000 left in hose. We need to take 12 change of it.
On the capital, not
Yep.
the capital here.
Correct.
Okay, so would entertain a motion to approve a line item transfer of $12,000 to cover the new voice logger recorder.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Tina, you got that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, is there any further discussion about it? Okay, it's an important piece of equipment. All in favor? Aye, it's unanimous.
Apparatus report, apparatus is starting to go out to get routine service done, move oil filters. We had to put tires on, 2 front tires on Rescue 1, and the tankers are going out. Did they take one of the tankers today? They're starting to take the tankers this week to go out for service, routine service. Engine 2 went out for service, came back. They're gonna start taking the other trucks out. For DOT inspections and everything.
How's 2?
2 is okay, we had some issues we had to fix, and it's tip top right now. We actually, talking about engine 2, we did a training drill over at the Country Club of Woodbridge a few weeks ago, and we ran into a problem with the CAF system. The CAF system, somehow the compressor filled up with water, and we had an issue, and we had to drain the water out of the system, and it needed service, and we were able to get it back up and going, but it needed service. So it's good that we train with them, so we know when this happens, and we get it fixed. We were also busy on Halloween night. We did from about 8 o'clock at night to about 7 o'clock in the morning, we did about 30 calls. We had a lot of wire down calls. We had some CO alarms, activated alarms. So the guys were out all night long responding to
I
those
had a lot of
incidents.
calls, my phone didn't go off 30 times, so. So was that,
There was an issue where we had one dispatcher on over at the police department, and so what we did is we ended up putting somebody in dispatch and running the cards over here rather than across the street because they were overwhelmed, they couldn't keep up. So instead of constantly keep hitting the tone, we just self-dispatch from here.
And again, that's a question I would just raise, coming from the, why would somebody
a
not,
little louder, please?
why would somebody not anticipate a storm like that and have 2 dispatchers on? That's just one of the points that comes from our discussion. Now, it's not for you to answer, but that's just a question.
No,
I raised.
I'm surprised to hear it because that was a storm that was,
You knew it was
that
coming.
was well forecast. We moved the trunk or treat
Trunk or treat.
to the next night because of that. Lots of activities were canceled. That storm was no surprise.
That's right. Why would you have 1 dispatcher?
It actually was probably a little less severe than expected, but 30 calls is still 30 calls. Okay. It's a fair question.
Dispatch we talked about, we're going to be going to the Board of Selectmen meeting next month. So we will know. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
What's the date of that, the 11th?
The 11th.
all the commissioners gonna be there on the 11th?
December.
What time is that? December 11th?
December 11th. I think their meetings start at 5, but I don't know what time they would have us on, whether it's right at 5 or later on, I don't know. Once we find out, we'll let you know.
Okay.
Radio system update. Committee met, Board of Selectmen ratified the other night, last week, for the second console over here at the firehouse, and for the digital, switching over to digital upgrade. So, once we have a date, I'll let you guys know when the digital is, when we're gonna switch from analog over to digital.
Any further advice or just any further discussion at the committee level with regard to the dispatch software program that was approved
That's
and
more-
the money was appropriated for?
Correct me if I'm wrong here, that's gonna more go to the Board of Selectmen level, and let the Board of Selectmen figure out what they're gonna do with that.
It's my understanding also.
Also going on about the radio system, I've been having meetings with Frontier, and they're actually coming back out tomorrow. Joe, I'm gonna hook up with you later. They're looking to move the sites that are on the T1 lines over to fiber, like we talked about, so they're looking to see what it's gonna take to move the system over to the fiber lines.
Those
Which would
fiber
be
lines,
a lot better than the T1 lines.
fiber lines are on poles, right?
Fiber lines are on poles, yes,
So,
but they're more resilient than the 1910 copper line. So, but yes, they're still on poles. The only fail-safe to all that is you can go to a microwave system, but you're talking another probably $60,000-$70,000 a site to
you
go to
need
fiber.
need line of sight for microwave, right?
Correct. So you gotta put an antenna on top of a pole, on top of the tower, and it's gotta, you gotta put an antenna on top of the other tower, and it's gotta see each other.
Are those affected by weather?
They're not really affected by weather, but if you get a lot of wind, if they jolt a little bit, you have to go up and realign them. But microwave is a lot better than T1 or
Have
fiber.
they transmit through heavy snow?
Yeah. They say,
Anybody out there?
no, it's different. It's not the door. Okay, the shed,
No, well, anyways, the fiber would be a huge upgrade.
correct.
From-
Yep. And that doesn't
From like,
only,
you know, 19th century
that
technology.
doesn't always, that's not only helping fire, that's helping PD and EMS. And Public Works. So it's good.
Would the, do you know if the town would have to pay for that?
Fiber?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the conversion or just the carrying?
They
So
would
the
just pay the monthly
use,
bill.
right?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
okay.
So to put it in perspective, I want to say we pay roughly $1,200 a month now for T1s, that when we switch over to fiber, we're probably in the area about $1,700. But the reliability on the fiber is 10 times better than what it is on the T1 lines.
What about, do we have any access to Cablevision's fiber?
No, it's gotta go.
Right, I mean, because I think they've got fiber through much of town, if not all of it.
No, yeah, go through Frontier. Frontier goes pretty much through town too.
Okay. All right, what
The
else?
shed, the bids came back in, been talking to Tony, he's working with Jerry Weiner, there was a question on it. Looks like we're gonna go with the Rockfall Group right now, if I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be the Rockfall Group. And it was supposed, the Board of Selectmen were gonna have a special meeting this week, I don't know if that's gonna happen, so they can go to the Board of Finance Thursday night. If not, it'll probably be taken up either at another special meeting or in December. hopefully get that approved and start moving that. Now, this is the shell of the building.
It's a good start.
Yep.
A long time.
Is this still the shed that's, we're talking about out here?
Yes.
Yes.
I was a young woman when we started talking about that shed.
You still are.
You had blonde
Yes.
hair. You had blonde hair.
I had a lot less gray. Sean had hair.
Yeah.
And we could all hear.
So hopefully we'll be moving forward with that and at least getting a jump start.
Do we have any advice as to the kind of, about the shape the foundation is in to put a building on
The
it?
foundation's good, we had people look at it, everything is good right now. The only thing we may have to do a little work on is the radiant heat. We're gonna have to chip down in that one corner about 6 inches, cut the pipe, put new pipe in, and have it come back up to hit the manifold, because the pipe wasn't designed to hit sunlight for 10 years. It was covered by a bag in a box, cardboard box, for, I don't know, 2 years, and then everything wore away. And here we are 10 years later. So hopefully we're moving forward.
Okay.
The old firehouse,
Yes.
Is there a question? Okay.
the old firehouse, we kind of got working on that project a little bit. They replaced the roof on Bay 3. This is that $500,000 steep grant the town received that they have to use by the first of the year. So they put the new roof on this past, last week on Bay 3 because it was leaking like a sieve. They were waiting for an air handler, a rooftop unit to come in for Bay 3, December 14th, so they could put that in, pipe that in, and get heat back in Bay 3. They put a new heater, a Modine heater, hanging in Bay 1 to provide heat in Bay 1 right now, which is working. And the town is going out to bid, hopefully in the next week, for Bay 2's roof, the one on Newton Road. That roof is leaking, and we're gonna frame out for a new RTU that's gonna go in there, that the town's gonna go direct on and bought purchase, which is a lot cheaper than going through the contractor, and get it installed. So all of these things that we're doing in the new building will be good, so we don't have to take them down or change them, regardless what the use is gonna be in the building.
Has that use been, do you know if they,
Why is the fire alarm going off?
Well, if you don't know,
I'm in here with you. I don't know what's going on.
is that in this
This is
building?
a new one.
We just thought we'd break it up for the camera. What'd you do, Jeff?
I guess this is the place to be if there's a fire, right?
well, I know, the question is, I think we're supposed to
probably
evacuate
leave.
it.
Sure, we can take a break.
Well, I mean,
Go look outside and see what's going on.
I don't smell anything.
well, I
Levity.
hope that the fire marshal would
You can't make this up.
Tell us-
That's all.
It's not very loud here, thankfully.
You know what you can say.
Trigger a migraine.
Stop. Stop.
Well, I may have just.
Just send somebody up to the roof.
Okay,
Okay, do we need to evacuate?
no, we're going to check it out right now. When I start running, start running.
I'm sure we all went past the
I'll sit over
You
here.
don't have to outrun the fire
Okay,
truck, you
so-
just have to outrun us.
Before we were interrupted,
Okay,
I was asking if you knew, because I don't, whether a use has been determined for the new
use
fire.
has not been determined, all I know is the fire department's retaining Bay 1 for the antique and for other storage purposes.
Okay.
You got the Board of Selectmen also was asked to look at also possible future uses of that. We were given studies done 8 to 10 years ago, you know, and so they've asked the Board of Selectmen for input at the next meeting, whether or not they would recommend a specific use for each.
Yeah, there's a deal with Amity
That's my
So their
question.
And
transition
it's
program's
still
still
on,
on the table?
they're still
That's
they're
still
still
on.
talking.
Okay.
I don't know the status, but I know they've been talking.
So, I'm hesitant to repeat this, because I got it third hand. But the comment was, everybody knows that building should have been condemned years ago. And I said, I don't know who everybody is, because I never ever heard
I
that.
never heard that either.
So I'm bringing it up to put a rest to that ugly rumor right now. I mean, that building was stabilized and repaired right after the fire, with a new roof on the main structure, and some other work done. And I think it's we're getting the other work done. Do you know if this other work is gonna use up the grants?
We're gonna
We're gonna work it with Tony.
6:30 test.
We'll work it.
No, that's the alarm.
That's the alarm.
Was that the alarm?
Is it only 6:30?
Woodbridge Fire Department personnel, I need you to respond to number 100 Center Road, that's 100 Center Road.
Is that
Good, we're
this?
here.
I'm sort of, I can't wait till executive session,
Yep,
but I'm
we're
out.
checking it out right now. Thank you.
Wow. I don't smell anything, do
Yep,
23-21.
Could be the pizza.
all right. It came in at 6:55 and 6:58, the tone just started, it's going up for the fire department. When did you notify dispatch?
This is wild.
All right, thank you.
So, in that 3 minutes,
It's a good example.
I'm sorry?
so the alarm went off 3 minutes ago, because we were here, we saw it. And then that goes to the alarm company, and the alarm company calls
Correct.
dispatch, and then dispatch comes out to the department. And that took 3 minutes. I don't think that that's acceptable.
All right, the next thing on is the budget review task force. This is the sheet that came out. You guys all have this in front of you.
The commissioners do.
Yep.
Yeah,
So if you go under fire department, consolidation of IT services with the town, which we're actually working with the town now. They're actually, you should put the word in.
You have a comment?
We're actually already doing that. The town hall server is already over here in our IT room. We maintain, we're gonna be connecting our server into that rack with them. So we are sharing services, and we use TDNG, and the town is actually using TDNG now. So we're using, basically, we're saving on services. So we're moving forward on that, which is good, which we talked about in the past.
Are you confident about maintaining our level of service?
We are, because even though they're together, they're separate. So we can keep going our way, they're gonna go their way.
I think that maintaining our level of service here is very important, because it's emergency services, and I don't want to see a downgrade to what
No,
across the street.
we have two separate agreements, but we're sharing the same services. It's a little complicated, but we are doing that.
Just I have some
Yep.
experience with with IT at town hall, and it would not be satisfactory here.
We basically, how it's gonna work, is the way I understand it, there's still gonna be two separate agreements, but when you negotiate, the number's gonna come down because you're sharing services.
Okay.
Explore options for dispatch, you know where that is. I don't know where the first selectman to create a separate task force which charter in completion by the date of March 31, 2020, or latest demonstrated improvements. That was promised to us back last October, November, which you were at the meeting, one of the meetings, and Bruce was at the other meeting. And that was promised to us in February of 19, so here we are in 2020. I don't exactly know when she's doing that, if she's doing that, or this was just a recommendation from the task force, I believe. Review
From the budget task force.
from the budget,
Right.
yes, from the budget
Right.
task force.
Right.
Review parameters for EMS contract, paramedic and ambulance. This came up during the budget review task force. We're actually working with Town Hall to create, to try to negotiate a better contract right now in the short term with AMR. And looking to get better service in town at a less cost. And then a review apparatus and vehicle purchasing schedule. I don't really know what that is. It's more just what we talked about in the capital budget about all the apparatus.
Well, that's, you know, we know it's a big number, so it's appropriate to look at it. But,
We've given them a list of all the apparatus we have, the years, mileage, hours, VIN numbers, color, make, model, whatever you want. I mean, we're open to the whole thing.
Right, and so the stuff's expensive, and there's no two
Absolutely.
ways about that. And, but let's just remember that we replaced 7 when it failed at a fire,
Absolutely.
right?
Hang on
And
one
so
second,
that's
I'm
what we
sorry.
can't have that.
Woodbridge Fire? Yes. Yep. Yep, we're here, we're checking it out. All right, thank you.
Alarm company?
Yep. So, that's where we are.
Thank you.
Activity report, the assistant chief couldn't make it tonight, he's got strep throat. But we got, like I said, we were extremely busy October 31st with all those calls. And we've been pretty busy throughout though, steady. Not super busy, but steady. It's nothing like where we were last year, but we're still up. I know there were some concerns about what happened last week over at by the country club property, or on the country club property. We assisted the PD, we provided lighting for them during that murder investigation, so
Excuse me?
we provided lighting.
What, somebody got murdered?
Yeah, somebody got shot over by the country club.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta pay attention.
Or-
Really?
It
Or
was
put
in
there.
the news.
Or
Is there-
put there.
When did this happen?
We don't know.
I don't know.
Last
Saturday.
Saturday, the body was discovered.
No
It
kidding.
was reported in the news, the body was recovered with gunshot wounds.
No kidding.
New
Wow.
Haven,
Fire department's
PD.
burning up. There's a murder at the country club.
New
What's
Haven
it?
PD, you know, were part of the investigation was reported.
They find who did it?
I have no idea.
That part
We're
is
the
not.
fire department. All I did was give lighting, that's it.
But they know who, I mean, they identified the body.
And other than that, that's
We're the
it.
fire department, not the police department, so.
Well,
Joe is looking at this, so just skip Joe's report, and then you wanna do the other stuff?
Well, do we want to talk about Joe's report, or want to wait for him to get back, or what do you want to do with that?
If you have questions, I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to answer, but I'll do my best for you.
Well, I mean, I can see that there's 38 reports.
there's only 3 violations, or 3 or 4 violations.
Last page. I don't know how many inspections he did versus how many consultations he's done. You don't have that all broken down.
Yeah, and then Joe had to go to a training today, EPPI. He went for me, sat in for that. That was the statewide drill.
What's EPPI?
It's like a state drill. They did cyber security, cyber attack, and they did natural, I think it was natural gas explosion where it wiped out natural gas lines and I don't know, some disaster.
I was going to ask him about the, I don't know if it's on here, about the, there was a furnace,
There was a furnace explosion we had, that came in about 2 weeks ago. It actually looks like it overpressurized. The wife was home upstairs, heard the house rock or felt the house rock, didn't know what it was. We got called. While going up, we noticed the windows in the basement were blown out and pictures were knocked off upstairs off the wall. I think a chandelier was damaged upstairs, other damage upstairs, and when we went downstairs, the furnace actually, part of it vaporized in it and blew apart. So, lost the hot water heater, a lot of damage downstairs, blew doors out. So I know the insurance company was there. In fact, Joe did an investigation. We had the new temporary part-time building inspector, Andy Rizzo, come out and take a look at it. We've really never seen anything to this magnitude where the furnace explodes like that. It was oil fired.
so is it the steam, water, pressure explosion, or is it heat?
We're not
water?
100% sure what it is.
It's a real inartful way of me asking
Right.
about this, because
Yep.
There was no dark explosion, so it had to be water, heat coming in. There's not-
Probably
nothing burned.
overpressurized.
Overpressurized. Either it was burning, really too hot, and it let cold water in, and as soon as the cold water hit it,
It
then
just
it
was a
exploded.
boiler.
Yeah, it was a boiler.
But
Hot
it blew
water
the
heat.
boiler apart.
well, I'm just glad nobody got hurt.
Yep.
Is the house habitable?
No.
They're
Nope.
out?
They're gonna be out for a little while.
Wow.
Serpro came in, they had to clean it up. I mean, it also destroyed the hot water heater downstairs too, because it was right next to it. But quite a bit of damage.
Okay, and just, I should mention, as Sean mentioned, there's a temporary building inspector because our building inspector passed away a week or two ago. So I went to the wake and paid my respects. So I don't know what, I'm assuming there's a plan to replace him.
I don't know.
Right now, he's working Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings until, for as long as he's needed for those 3 days.
Andy Rizzo?
Andy Rizzo.
And he's the retired New Haven building
He's
inspector,
in
right?
his 70s.
One of them.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah,
I know Andy, I've worked with him
Yeah,
in New Haven.
he's-
He's good, he's really good,
Yeah.
really good guy.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, so good, we're in good hands in the interim.
Yep.
Okay, if the fire marshal comes back, we can ask him, any questions out of order. Next item is executive session. Question is whether to defer that until after the other items, which are correspondence, which I don't have any, and the next meeting date of December 16th.
Oh, I do have something if we can go back to it for a minute.
Okay?
Truck or treat. We
Oh,
did
yes,
really
yeah,
good. We had,
go back to the
um,
chief's report, please.
we roughly had over 4,000 people here.
Just incredible.
Just to put it in perspective, we went through over 650 pounds of french fries,
The numbers are good.
2,000
15
hamburgers,
Love the
2,000 hot dogs,
Candy, please.
over
Candy
12,
report.
Poundage by pound.
Andy,
over 20 gallons of chowder, almost over 400 pounds of mashed potatoes,
Mashed potato.
and
How many
over
potatoes, actually?
over 50,000 pieces of candy.
I'm pretty
Wow.
impressed with the 2,000
Candy.
calories. That's
Do you
not
remember when
bad.
Don Imus called and ordered 2,000 hamburgers?
Oh
But I
my
gotta-
God.
But I gotta tell
I
you,
got 2,000 hamburgers to go, please.
we had all those people there, and we had the donation booths out there. And what's sad is it only took in like $1,200 in donations.
Well,
That's what's sad about the whole thing.
I wouldn't call it sad. We have to market the boots a little bit
I
more
would.
next year, that's all. I think the people will be very generous
Yeah.
if we bring it forward. I think it's not something that's in their,
So,
The boots are, I mean, not if I should, because I was in charge of collecting money from the boots. So when you first walk in to the welcome, like the welcome table, the boots are there. I mean, it was, and I was watching people. They're throwing in like $1, throwing in change. Then there are people throwing in 20s. The boots are everywhere. That's not the, if I should speak about this, I don't think marketing it is,
okay, so you got
so we did,
4,000 people, it's maybe 1,000 families,
yeah, they gave
you
a
got
buck each.
$1 a piece average.
that's pretty sad.
But what,
I
but
mean,
I'd
They're
rather
mostly in town or out of town, do we know?
well, that's a good point.
focus on the positive.
Yeah.
so we had a lot of
Kids.
people, a lot of
$1,200,
food,
kids had fun.
a lot of everything going on. The fireworks show was great,
Fantastic.
Fabulous,
so.
fabulous.
And then 2 days later, we had the pancake breakfast here, that went really well. That was for Danielle Esposito. And that raised, between the pancake breakfast and donations we took in right around $24,000.
Wow, excellent.
How many pancakes did you serve? I'm kidding.
Went through like
I'm kidding, I'm
over
kidding.
40 gallons.
24,000.
No, we went over 40 gallons of pancake batter. And the pancake batter was all donated by Chips.
Nice.
Wow, that's very nice.
It was good.
Okay.
And keep going, Santa's at the firehouse December 21st from 12 to 3. Santa on the fire truck for the needy families and for the firehouse families. It's gonna be the week before. The dance, dance is coming up. That's gonna be March 7th at the JCC. It's gonna have the Rum Runners again.
Nice.
And we're gonna start looking for donations so we can do the silent auction and the live auction
Is
again.
that the snowflake dance?
That's a snowflake dance,
March 7th?
March 7th.
Earlier this year.
No, it's actually later, it's a week later.
Used to be in February.
Last year was the last week of February because the JCC didn't have the first Saturday. It's usually, we try to keep it the first
A long
Saturday
time
in
ago.
March.
First one I went to
Yes.
was the Center School Gym in
Used to
February.
be February
That's
14th.
when we first started talking about the shed.
Yeah.
In dispatch.
It's when the Pilgrims came
For
over.
the building, totally.
Do you solicit sponsors for that?
Yeah, so we have an ad book, so we're actually printing the forms out this week, so we're gonna start working on that. Okay? And that's what I have. So it's all good.
Okay. Mr. Fire Marshal.
Oh, you waited for me.
We looked
Yeah.
at-
Oh, no, I went through it.
Well, we looked at
thanks.
So
your
if they have
report.
questions you're gonna ask me, I already did it.
I'm all set. Fire away.
How we do?
So, other than the inspection, was this any fire prevention the past month?
Yeah, I was out 6 times for fire prevention. We did pretty close to 900 kids in the last couple of months.
I know you had started it.
Yeah, we
Just
started it in.
Also, to put it in perspective, Joe, last year we did over 640 inspections.
Wow.
Close to 650 inspections. So, we're on
Getting
top of
done.
everything, yep.
We had 2 fires last month, minor. Really, 1 plan review. But 24 inspections and 4 consulting.
And the boiler mishap, do you have
Yeah, that's one of
a determination on that yet?
No. It's above me. I'm waiting to speak to the owner, to speak to his insurance company to see what, they'll hire an engineer to figure out what happened.
Right.
The town of Woodbridge isn't gonna pay for an engineer, so we'll
Okay.
just wait for the insurance company to do it.
What about the call we got when we were here with car fire? Was there a car fire?
They said the fire was going good when they got there. I heard it here.
Okay,
They're still there.
okay. And what about, do we know why the alarm was going
There's a
off?
problem with rooftop unit number 2.
And what is, what?
I don't know.
Is
It says
that-
rooftop unit, when
is
you
it-
open the door, it says alarm.
is
We
anyone
tried to
up there?
reset it.
Or
No, the
is
heat
it-
will probably work better tonight. There's only 3 of the 4 are working.
So we don't need to evacuate?
Now, you're safe for now, at least till
I
8
told
o'clock.
you, when you see us running, start running.
Okay. All right, so, item number, and we had deferred executive session, so item number 12 is the next meeting date of December 16th. So we expect to go to the Board of Selectmen on December 11th. The following Monday is the 16th, and that is also the week that the fire truck will be delivering toys to families in need in town. So the question is, should we meet on the 16th? Well,
You could meet the 9th or the 16th.
the 9th would need to be a special meeting,
Okay?
because it's less than 30 days out. I'm happy to keep the 16th, but I don't know that if that's desirable for the officers that would typically attend.
16th is fine.
All right, keep it for the 16th. Okay, we have 2 items for executive session with regard to pending claims and security matters. And so I would not anticipate any action taken after that executive session. I expect it as just discussion. If you agree, then, those who are not present can leave if they like.
Sure.
And then,
See you later.
thank you.
Good night.
In terms of attendance at executive session, I want the chief, and do you have any other officers that you think need to be here for that?
Joe can stay.
Okay. And the, probably don't need the clerk, or
No, she can leave if she wants.
okay. All right, so now,
Actually, you know what? No, leave her for now.
okay, entertain a motion to go.
We're so close.
We're out, now you're back in.
You won't be able to stay.
Oh, okay.
You're a student.
Sure.
Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
With, to address pending claims and security matters, with the chief and the fire marshal and commissioners and our office manager, Tina, to stay, although Tina, depending on the pending claims, we may need to excuse you temporarily.
Okay.
But see how the discussion goes. Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye, unanimous, thank you.